Phoenix has done it again, joining 34 cities as a finalist in the Bloomberg Philanthropies Mayors 2018 Challenge. Hello, I'm Deborah Cedillo-Dugan, and welcome to another City Update. The City of Phoenix beat out more than 320 applicants who were competing for the most innovative plans to benefit the country. Joining me today is Deputy City Manager Karen Peters to talk about what Phoenix proposed. This is so exciting. I'm like on the edge of my seat here, Karen.
I know.
So first of all, let's talk about Mayor Bloomberg's, what this challenge is all about.
Sure. Mayor Bloomberg, former mayor of New York City, after he left office, decided that he wanted to continue working in the city space. He firmly believes that cities are where the government can really impact people's lives and improve people's lives. So he created the Mayor's Challenge, and this is the fourth iteration of the Mayor's Challenge. So he challenges cities over a certain population all over the country to submit ideas, and then they choose one to fund at a $5 million over 3-year level.
You did say 5 million.
I said 5 million.
That
yes.
is so exciting, and we are one of the finalists. So what did we propose?
So we had to come up with something brand new. That was one of the criteria of the grant. And so we put together a team and we worked hard. Ultimately, what we came up with was this idea of a heat-ready city, so that we would put together a coherent way to manage extreme heat in the community and how extreme heat impacts our most vulnerable residents.
Sure, and it doesn't, obviously, when we talk about impacting the entire country, there are plenty cities, larger cities, smaller cities, and mid-sized cities that also have heat issues as well.
That's exactly right. And so what we originally want to do is create a certification so that any city could say, I want to be a heat-ready city too, and they would use our construct to figure out what they need to do to be heat-ready.
Okay, so you mentioned the criteria because it also obviously has to impact the residents in cities throughout. So can you talk about some more of the criteria, which really gave us that little leading edge?
Sure. So they want it to be a big idea. It has to be something big and bold. That's one of the first things they say in the application. But the other thing that's really important is that it's never been tried. Okay. What they're looking for are ideas that can be tested and adapted and completely applicable in other contexts. So we'll be testing the idea, learning from that, adapting the idea, and then moving on and implementing.
Okay, so we know the big mission statement of what it is, heat ready.
Really
so can you break it down a little bit of the strategy and some of the tactics and how we're going to get there?
Well, that's what we are working on figuring out.
Okay.
But clearly, in order to respond to extreme heat events, we need to be prepared. We have to have a communication strategy, and we have to have infrastructure like cooling centers and places where people can go to get out of the heat, and make sure that people know where they are and how to access them. In addition, there might be first responder strategies that we would develop and similar ideas, but that's something that we'll develop over the course of implementing the grant.
Okay, so what is the timeline? So where are we at with this, and who worked on this? Who's part of the team?
Well, yes, I want to give credit to all the people who helped us with this idea. So what Bloomberg asks us to do, people who are interested in applying, they ask us to convene the community and talk about what we could propose together. So we had a workshop where we brought together many city departments and some nonprofit partners, including the Nature Conservancy, Vitalist Health Foundation, etc. But also very importantly, Arizona State University, because they have done a lot of research about urban heat island and extreme heat, and we wanted to bring that expertise to the table. So we brainstormed for a whole day in our room and came up with this certification idea.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. Well, I know Phoenix is also, we're aiming for in 2050 to be a carbon neutral city. Right. And I know a lot sustainability, and I know the shade structures and all that comes into play too. So this is also very exciting. So how are we doing? And give me those little benchmarks and time frame where we're supposed to be.
Yes, so we got the announcement that we're among the top 35.
Congratulations!
And so we are what Bloomberg calls us our champion cities. There are 35 champion cities. And so those 35 cities just last week were in New York with the Bloomberg team to refine ideas and get coached on how to make the idea really workable. And so we will take the summer and test it. We did get some seed money up to $100,000 to develop the idea further. And then we'll resubmit in August of this year. After we resubmit, we'll be waiting on the edges of our seat, and in October they'll announce the 5 winners. 4 cities will get $1 million, and the big winner will get $5 million.
I think we would be happy to be even one of the 5.
Absolutely,
I think, right?
We'd be happy to be one of the 5. And I'll tell you, during the course of developing this idea and working with the community on it, it's really clear to us that this is something we need to do anyway.
Yes.
And so what I'm really hoping, what the grant would do would accelerate our work, would get us to the community faster. But I think there's broad agreement that this is so important that we need to do it, whether we're funded or not. But boy, it would help a lot to be funded.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And it's exciting that we're actually going to do some testing, obviously, this summer, because we all know that we get record-breaking triple digits, and I just hate when we hear a vulnerable adult or a child or somebody with a disability that loses their life because of the heat.
It's a terrible tragedy. It's totally preventable, and that's why we think this is so important.
Well, we are so excited, and we are so very proud of our city and of this award. I mean, just to be nominated, I guess, if you will, or one of the finalists is like a pretty big deal.
It's a recognition that what we've come up with is really innovative, and that in and of itself is very exciting.
Well, we wish you well, and we're glad that we're able to talk about this to let our residents know that we, our city, the city of Phoenix, the 5th largest city in the country, continues to be a leader over and over again on so many initiatives. So
yes, we're really excited and glad for this recognition, but excited to do stuff.
But there's still a lot of work ahead.
We really want to get this out there into the community and help people.
Thanks again, Karen, for joining us today. If you'd like more information about this competition, you can go to this website on the screen. For City Update, I'm Deborah Cedillo Dugan, and thanks for watching.